What's going on, guys? We are heading out of work on the way home. It's about 7:40 in the morning. Like, pretty sure most of you guys know, I work overnight. I am a night manager at a luxury hotel in downtown Beantown. So yeah, on the way home, and the topic for today's moto vlog is how I like Boston compared to New Orleans. What I like about it, if I'm glad I made the move, if I wish I would have stayed. Well, how do I feel about the whole change and everything? And to be honest, I actually quite like it. Boston is an amazing city. It's a beautiful city. Not to mention, being up here, I now have a lot more guys that I'm going to be able to ride with, which equals a lot better videos for you guys. The people that I'm speaking of is Mr. Elfod, who's up in New Hampshire. We also got Cape Voice, who is on the Cape, obviously. And then we got Mark's 4303, I believe is what his numbers are at the end of that. And then we also got DeFobra. DeFobra and Mark, they're both out in New York, so they're not too far away. We've got a couple of rides planned already where we're just gonna meet up halfway. I know they're coming up here in May, and then obviously we have Operation New York Cheesecake going on into July, which is gonna be a hell of a good time. Definitely excited about that meetup. I know they had a pretty decent turnout last year, and I'm crossing my fingers that we can maybe double that. That would be quite nice, quite pleasurable. But yeah, this is, right now we're on Boylston Street. The street right here is called Arlington Street, and then the street that we started on is called Newberry. Newberry is one of the most famous streets in the country. It's kind of like the Rodeo Drive of the East Coast. There's nothing but high-end stores, talking Giorgio Armani, Versace, Juicy Couture, like all of those big names. Like there's a Burberry store right there. The largest coach store, I believe it might be in the United States, but I'm for sure it's the largest on the East Coast. It's right across from my hotel. They actually used to have the Chanel store in the hotel, which was pretty cool. But now they moved out of there to open up the store across the street, and they are actually we're going to be having Tiffany move into where Chanel used to be. So I'm not really dropping in price range or anything like that. This right here is the Park Plaza. It's a little older, could use some updating, but yeah, back to the comparison between New Orleans and here. You probably couldn't find two cities that are more different than Boston and New Orleans. First thing I noticed when I got here is Boston closes at 2, no exceptions. There's a lot of places you can't even smoke outside. There are a lot of places, I mean, you can't take any form of alcohol out of the establishment that you are in, which obviously New Orleans is not like that at all. New Orleans, like I've said before, we had drive-through daiquiri stores in New Orleans. Very loose with drinking. Up here, not even remotely loose when it comes to drinking. So that was the major thing that I noticed, aside from just the look and the feel and just the different vibe that you get from each city. This is a very, very clean city. You'll be hard pressed to find something out of place or dirty. It just doesn't really happen. Drivers are a whole hell of a lot more aggressive up here, which I kind of like because that's how I drive. New Orleans, if you guys have been subscribed to me for a little bit, you know how New Orleans drivers are. They are lackadaisical, they are never in a hurry, and they never pay attention. I have many videos in which someone attempts murder on me. Here, I'm sure I'm going to have the same kind of issues, considering no one ever looks for bikes, and not to mention how aggressive people drive here. On the way back from Rhode Island yesterday, I actually had a lady come over into my lane, had to give her a little, and she moved away. But yeah, two completely different cities. The one major, like, glaring thing that is very apparent as soon as you get up here and start trying to establish yourself and place some roots down and get your apartment and your life becomes up here, is you find out how expensive shit really is up here compared to the South. It is, for lack of a better word, insane. The price of shit up here just does not make any sense. Ironically, gas is not one of those things that's just insanely expensive up here. I don't recall, I may be wrong, but I don't believe that it was that big of a jump from New Orleans, to be completely honest with you. Everything else is, but gas really isn't a lot different, which is what really surprised me, because you always hear people, oh, you think your gas is bad, try coming to New York, which obviously New York is going to be a little bit more expensive than it is up here. But the North in general, everything is more expensive, so I just figured gas was going to be another one of those things that was just insanely overpriced. I was figuring $4 a gallon when I came up here, and I mean, we filled up the CRV before we headed out to New Hampshire and paid $3.59 a gallon. I mean, that's not bad, especially comparatively to New Orleans. It wasn't much different than that. So yeah, that was that. What in the fuck? You see what I mean? You see what I mean? Like, why? Why is that necessary? Why? What the fuck? So yeah, there's a lot of differences between the two cities. And if you ask me which one I like more, I honestly don't know if I can give you a definitive answer as of yet. I mean, I came up to New Orleans, or I came up to Boston right before winter hit, and we got, hey, a biker. We got completely fucked by it. So it's been kind of miserable up here. I'm not gonna lie. It's been rather miserable. So once the spring hits, it starts warming up. I know 100% sure that I am going to enjoy this area far more than I did New Orleans in terms of riding, because I mean, I know for a fact there are some amazing roads up here. New Orleans, there wasn't shit. So I know from a motorcycle standpoint, I'm gonna love this place, but it's also a catch-22. New Orleans, I could ride all year round. Here, it ain't happening. Not even because of the cold. Like, it's physically, it's impossible. physically impossible to ride a motorcycle here year-round. That's just the cold, hard truth. I don't like it. No one likes it. But when Mother Nature lets go of this area, lets it warm up, lets it thaw out, there are some absolutely, truly amazing roads up in the New England area, and I plan on hitting all of them. so definitely looking forward to that. But it's weird because you got two cities that are so different, but at the same time they're so similar because both are very, very rich in history. Both are very beautiful, albeit in completely different ways. The two cities don't look alike at all, but they're just beautiful. Like, Boston has the old colonial style structures, and then you go to New Orleans, whenever you look around the French Quarter, and like all the cathedrals and whatnot, like they have all of it's very French inspired, all of it's very Renaissance like, and it's just beautiful. But Boston is beautiful in its own right. It's just a completely different type of beauty. But I'm still on the fence. Boston's cool. I know I'm gonna like it in the spring, but I haven't decided yet if the winter could end up ultimately ruining it. I hope not. I really hope it doesn't, because this really is an awesome place. And in Boston's defense, this winter is really like no other winter. We got more than 3 times our average amount of snow this year. So I can't really use this winter as a gauge on how I'm gonna feel about Boston forever. So that's what I gotta keep in mind. I really won't be able to accurately gauge how I feel about this place, because this winter just completely battered us and put a bad taste in my mouth. The spring and summer are right around the corner, and I know I'm gonna fall in love with the place. It's just gonna depend on, is winter gonna roll back around next year and make me want to kill myself again? That's really what it comes down to. So, I love New Orleans. My wife hated it. We ended up coming up here. She's always wanted to move here. I've always been a huge Sox fan, and I was all for it, so we did it. And I guess I'll have a final verdict a little bit later on. Didn't really see it ending like that. I figured it would be kind of Boston all the way, but the more I thought about it, I can't really give a clear-cut winner, because there are pros and cons to each. If you can mesh the two together, heaven. Drink anywhere and it'd be 70 degrees every day, and we'd have good roads and beautiful French and colonial architecture. Well, that's all I got for you guys. I'm getting off the highway here, and I will be home shortly. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, every Tuesday and Thursday there will be a new video posted. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you later. Have a good one, guys.